lots of people.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. My name is Rabbi Zach Shapiro. We are so delighted that you're here with us to celebrate Shabbat. We just came into Shabbat with the beautiful music from our choir director, Mary Lou Basaraba, and you'll see that many members of our choir will be joining us this evening for this very special Shabbat. Also leading the service along with me is our cantor, Lonnie Freilich, and our cantorial intern, Liz Baseman. In a moment, we're going to welcome Helene Jaffa, who's going to offer a word. But before I do, another special welcome to Dr. Eric Greenberg and students from LMU who are joining us here at Temple Akiba today, as they so often do in their studies. This is your home. We're glad that you're here. And at the end of the service, both Cantor and I will be meeting with students in a couple of different breakout rooms to do some Q&A. And we would like to extend that welcome to those who are part of the Temple Akiba community to join us for that Q&A as well. But first, to introduce this very special Shabbat service and our theme tonight, what an honor to welcome Helene Jaffa. Helene, Shabbat Shalom to you.
Shabbat Shalom to you and to everyone. Tonight, we're joining with many congregations in our area to honor HIAS's Refugee Shabbat. HIAS is the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society. Starting in 1981, they offered Jews fleeing from Europe meals, jobs, shelter, clothing. Most importantly, advocacy to prevent deportation on Ellis Island and finding relatives in the United States to help them stay. Now HIAS aids refugees of all nationalities, and unfortunately, the needs are still the same. They need to survive, they need to gain entry into the United States, asylum, and they need help getting to citizens and assimilating to our society. The Tikkun Olam Committee decided to not only contact HIAS and contribute to this service with the help of Rabbi and Cantor and the choir, but also to do a little project for the San Fernando Valley Refugee Children's Organization in North Hills by providing them some art supplies generously donated by 47 members of our congregation and directed, run very ably, and delivered by Kathy Penso. So refugees, as you know from the news, refugees, as you know about strangers from Jewish law, are important to all of us. And now we can begin our service.
Thank you so much, Helene, to you and to all of our Tikkun Olam committee who do such incredible work, inspiring us to open our arms and have a service such as this tonight. Cantor Lonnie, can you lead us with some music about being a welcoming and embracing community?
I would love to. Our opening song is called We Are All Welcome Here. It is by a cantorial colleague and friend of mine, Rebecca Mirsky. And it is about welcoming you, welcoming all, whether they're a refugee, no matter what you look like, what your beliefs are. We welcome everyone into this community. Some need wheels to get around, and some can use our feet. Some eat only vegetables, and some of us eat meat. Some need to be sober, and some can drink a beer. We are all welcome here. Some of us are brown real early, and some prefer the night. Some of us wear burqas, some wear headphones in our ears. We are all welcome here. We are all welcome here. Let's fight with every ounce of love to end this senseless fear. We are all welcome here. Some of us are northern and some are from the south. Some of us believe in God and some of us have doubt. Some of us are straight, some are trans, and some are queer. We are all welcome here. Some of us were slaves and some of us were not. Some remember history, it seems that some forgot. When we choose to hate each other, I fear the end is near. We are all welcome here. Home of the brave, land of the free. Doesn't that mean you? Doesn't that mean me? Doesn't that mean one? Doesn't that mean all? Never thought it ever meant the building of a wall. We are all welcome here. We are all welcome here. We are all welcome here.
Thank you so much, Cantor. One of the greatest embraces of welcome, Cantor, that you and I received when we first came to Temple Akiba was from the Knopf family, who have such extraordinary history, not only at Temple Akiba, but in Culver City. And this weekend, we get to celebrate the bar mitzvah of Ethan Knopf. And Ethan and his wonderful family are here today, as they will be tomorrow, of course, to light our candles and engage us with Kiddush. So Ethan, if we can get the camera on you, we welcome you and your family. You're going to lead us in our candle blessings now.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And we're don't sit down just yet. We're going to ask for everyone who is able in body or spirit to please rise for the Kiddush for Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon chilhilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodecha be'ahava uvratzon chinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
L'chaim. Jaden, that was fantastic. Please be seated, everyone. Mazel tov. We now have greetings from members of our leadership, starting with Linda Park, who is representing our congregation tonight from our board, followed by a representative from our sisterhood who, to the Knopf family, I don't think you've ever seen her before. Her name is Sharon Krakoff, and she has a presentation for Ethan. And then we also, Ethan, have a presentation for you from Herman Barnathan. So Shabbat Shalom first to Linda.
Shabbat Shalom and thank you, Rabbi. As Rabbi said, my name is Linda Park and I am president of Temple Akiba Sisterhood and privileged to be here tonight as a representative of the Board of Trustees of our temple. I want to wish Ethan Mazel Tov and your parents, Kevin and Cindy, and your brother, Jaden, on this milestone event, which is going to occur tomorrow. And just a quick save the dates for all of those who are participating in tonight's service. We have so many things going on at the temple in the upcoming weeks. Mark your calendars. Tomorrow night, following Ethan's bar mitzvah tomorrow morning, we have a very special Havdalah in the dark with Charlie Kramer. And on March 23rd, the men's group is hosting a discussion about the outcome of the Israeli elections. On March 20th, the sisterhood is hosting a Havdalah service, their annual Havdalah service. And on March 27th, there is the second night Passover Seder. And links and information for registering for all of these events can be found in our weekly e-news or on our temple website. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm so happy to see all of you and to be able to celebrate this wonderful evening with you.
Sharon, there you are. We see
I know.
you.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. Ethan, this is for you from Sisterhood, which we will give you tomorrow. I will give you tomorrow. Somebody will give you tomorrow. And it is with love and pride that is the Sisterhood representative tonight that I give this to you. And we hope that you use this for many, many mitzvahs to come. And I just wanted to say that it's been a really tough year. It's been tough for all you young people. And I admire and respect what you've been able to accomplish over Zoom. Papa Bob and I love you very much, and we can't wait until tomorrow. And I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Herman Barnathan, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. I am the representative to the board from the men's group. It's been a very, very interesting year, getting to know a lot of people on Zoom, including you, Ethan. Your grandfather welcomed me into the synagogue when I first arrived. Your father and I served on the board together. So there is a family connection there with me anyway. Tomorrow, Rabbi will present to you a wrapped copy of the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible. It's in English. It's easy for you to read and understand. You should read it. You should cherish it. It has anything you need to know, not only about Judaism, but how to live your life according to Judaism. Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to your entire family, and Mazel Tov to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Herman. Our worship now continues with the singing of Lecha Dodi, and we invite Linda Winters to lead us in this prayer.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This version of Lecha Dodi, written by Craig Talman, was the favorite of our dear and wonderful Carol Weiner of blessed memory. We dedicate this song to Carol Weiner. Lecha, Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala, la la. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamiyuchat, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'liti la 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 Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Likrat Shabbat v'klel v'delcha, ki mekomor ha'baracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavati la 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 Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Mikdash melech imalucha, kumati v'tosh ha'apecha, Rav lach shevet be'emek ha'bacha, v'hu yachol alaychem la 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 Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Boi v'shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emuneh am segula, boi chala, Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala, la la. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi, lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala.
Thank you so much, Linda. We now call upon Ethan once again, who will lead us in the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadol v'yitgadash Shema Rabbah be'alma divra chirute ve'yamlich malchute v'chayechon u'vyamechon u'chayedechol bet Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imiru amen Yehi Shema Rabbah mevorach le'al amu al me'almaya yitbarach Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shmei d'kursha, brechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'elma, v'imeru, amen.
Ethan, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. We now invite all in body or in spirit to please rise for our formal call to worship the Baraku. And what an honor to invite Diana Hauptman, who will be leading us.
It's on you. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baraku et Adonai HaMelech. Baraku et Adonai HaMelech. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach L'olam Vaed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach L'olam Vaed. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please be seated. Normally, in this part of the service, we have a prayer called Ahava Rabbah, talking about how much God loves us. Instead, for this night, we wanted to substitute through a story a different prayer in the form of a question. Did you put more love in the world today? I've been wandering and I don't understand, stumbling around, blind and thirsty towards some promised land. But I remember once a whispering in my ear, everything you do from your heart will surely echo here. So I dance and sing that tune. I pour my water on the ground and watch as roses bloom. Did you put more love in the world today? More love on your way to the setting sun. There is only one measure when you can honestly say, I put more love. I remember when we had to leave our home, middle of the night, running scared. We were so alone, but we were grateful for the little that we had, cherishing the gifts and the care from every helping hand. Over time we came to see there's a simple path that leads to true prosperity. Did you put more love in the world today? More love on your way to the setting sun. There is only one measure measure when you can honestly say, I put more love. Did you put more love in the world today? More love on your way to the setting sun. There is only one measure. If you can honestly say, I put more love, more love, more love.
Thank you so much for that gift, cantorial intern Liz. The beauty of that song just is resonating so much, and it's an extraordinary prelude into the next prayer, the Shema Israel. And we often need to think about the Shema as being hugged, being embraced by this prayer of love that you sang so beautifully that comes before it. And then another prayer of love that comes after it. The V'ahavta means you shall love. And so the Shema, this prayer of listening, what it's also saying is that listen for the love that comes before and the love that comes after. And if we can love in all directions, that more than anything will be what it means to welcome the stranger into our hearts. Carol Seidman, we now invite you to please lead us in the Shema Israel. And once again, we invite the congregation to please rise.
Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Thank you so much, Carol, and please be seated, everyone, except for Ethan Knopf. Ethan, you'll be leading us in the V'ahavta.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha beveitecha uvlachtecha v'aderech uvshachtecha uvkumecha Uktav Sham al mezuzot betecha udvi sharecha lemam tiskeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotetiatem be'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiyot lachem le'elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Thank you so much, Ethan. That was wonderful. Our next prayer is kind of the heart and soul of the worship when it comes to understanding the mind and the journey of a refugee. This is the Micha Mocha. It's the song that our ancestors sang as they escaped tyranny in Egypt and made the beginning of their 40-year journey across the desert toward the promised land. They came out of Egypt with so little, but they had a dream. They had a hope. And as they crossed the Sea of Reeds, which was one of many, many trials and tribulations they faced, they recognized that God was with them. They said, Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, O God, among the gods that are worshipped. So leading us in this prayer is Julie Gray. Julie, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilot, O Sefer, Nora Tehilot, O Sefer. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Zeli anu ve'ameru Adonai imloch leolam vaed. Adonai imloch leolam vaed. Adonai imloch leolam vaed.
Julie, thank you so much for that beautiful prayer. We continue now with a prayer called the V'Shamru, the covenant of Shabbat, and Randy Murphy will be leading us.
You
Thank you, Randy, for that gift. So extraordinary in every way. Friends, we come to the central part of our worship experience, and that is the Amidah. Literally means the standing prayer. And Ethan will be leading us in these prayers once again. We invite the congregation, all who are able, to please rise.
Adonai sefatatifta ufia gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, v'Konei HaKol, V'zacher hastei avot v'ima'ot u'mevi yula livnei v'neihem l'man shemo be'ahava melech ozer u'mashiach u'nagin Baruch atah Adonai Migin Avraham v'ezrat Sarah atah gibor le'olam Adonai Nechayeh hakol atah rav lechoshiyah Nechalkel hayim b'chesed Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim somech noflim v'rofei cholim umatir asurim umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamecha ba'al geverot umido melach melach mimit umechayem umatmiach Yeshua ne'eman atah lechachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hakol atah kadosh v'shmicha kadosh ukdoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Thank you so much, Ethan. That was so beautifully prayed. If everyone can please be seated. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find feeling on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who makes this Shabbat day holy. We take a moment now for our own silent prayers. The photo that we just had during silent prayer, it was something that our Zoom master, Carol Diamond, put up for us. It may be one of the great photos that she's taken. But Carol, thank you for that prayer of just visual beauty as well. We now invite Jean Gasca, who will be leading us in our prayer for peace, this is from Rav.
Shalom Rav Israel Amcha Tasim Lelam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. 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 Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
Thank you so much, Jean. We're going to continue now with our prayer for healing, our Misha Berach, and we have an opportunity to reach into our hearts and think deeply about those who could use extra shalom, an extra embrace of peace, of goodness, of wholeness, as this pandemic continues. And while we may see a light at the end of the tunnel, we still have a journey before us. And so our world needs healing. Our world needs both physical as well as emotional healing. So as Daisy offers us this Misha Berach blessing, if there are people that you know who could use that extra prayer, please place their names in our chat box so we can see who is on your mind.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mechor Abraham Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Ibotenu Mechor Abraham Leimotenu. Bless those in need of healing with the Refuah Shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Thank you so much, Daisy. Thank you to all of our choir participants tonight who have offered us from your hearts such a moving journey. Such a moving journey. Thank you to Ethan and the Knopf family who are reminders of the beauty of our future. We live in extraordinary times, and the voices that you all share are reminders of our sacred duty to bring goodness wherever we can into the world. Dear friends, in a few weeks, as many of us sit for our Passover Seder in whatever form that's going to take. Look, I know that last year we said, this year we're in quarantine, next year may we be free. Who knows how the world will unfold in the next few weeks? Nevertheless, as we sit for Seder, we read a passage from the Haggadah, from our Passover book, which in one sentence from the Haggadah speaks to the entirety of the Jewish experience. The Haggadah quotes from the Talmud, from the Mishnah, actually. Excuse me. B'chol dor v'dor chayav adam li'erot et atzmo ki ilu hu yatsa miMitzrayim. Translated, that means in every generation, it is incumbent upon us to look upon ourselves as though we personally came out of Egypt. Let me say that again. In every generation, we each have the obligation to look upon ourselves as though we were there, as though we personally came out of Egypt. Indeed, no matter how free and secure we are, we need to remember that we are part of a greater people, a people who have gone through difficulty, a people who have journeyed through hatred, a people who have been without a home as they crossed, or as we crossed, the desert. Yes, the passage speaks to us specifically as Jews. We cannot forget. But the passage goes beyond that. The passage reminds us that we are also part of a greater humanity. The fact that we were once strangers in a strange land demands that we listen with empathy, we refrain from judging, and we learn to understand the stories of others who also have gone through those difficulties. We were there. We know what it was like, and we therefore are the ones who help others to search for possibilities. On this Refugee Shabbat, I ask that we take to heart, truly take to heart, what it must be like to be a stranger. But I want us to broaden our thinking in the process. There are many different kinds of refugees. In our day and age, in such a polarized world, we so often shut our minds and our hearts to those who think differently than we do. In fact, we are creating refugees amongst our friends, our families, and our people. How many of you have stopped communicating with those of different political views? How many of you have applauded the suspension, termination, and cancellation of voices with whom you disagree? We all are guilty of this, turning friends into strangers, turning dialogue into silence, and turning opportunities into dead ends. On this Refugee Shabbat, we say Dayenu, enough of creating people without feeling like they have a home. I ask that we do what we must to open the doors. We must open the doors by listening. We must open the doors by creating safe spaces. We must open the doors by embracing the stranger. This concept of welcoming the stranger, it's a concept that is more prolific than any other concept in the entire Torah. Our rabbis teach us that 36 times, we are taught that we were once strangers and that we must welcome all strangers. And so, I want to offer a modern interpretation of this. I want to offer 36 opportunities to recognize who is a stranger. I'm going to do this as an alphabetical acrostic. Now you may be thinking, Rabbi Zach, there's only 26 letters in the alphabet. You are correct. So I'm going to start with 26. But when I get to the end, I'm going to ask you to do something a little bit interactive with me. And I'm going to ask that you place in the chat box what your interpretation of a stranger is, because I want us to bridge that gap from 26 to 36. But I'll begin alphabetically. The stranger is someone who has been alienated. The stranger is someone who has been left behind. The stranger is someone whose voice has been canceled. The stranger is someone who feels defeated. The stranger is someone whose life has been erased. The stranger is someone who is fatigued. The stranger is someone who is a ger. Ger is the Hebrew word for stranger. The stranger is someone without a home. The stranger is someone who is in the image of God. The stranger is someone whose journey has crossed your path. The stranger is someone you did not make time to know. The stranger is someone that you are commanded to love as yourself. The stranger could very well be the Messiah. The stranger is someone who gives us new perspective. The stranger is someone who has the ability to open our eyes. The stranger is someone with possibilities. The stranger is someone who enables us to question our convictions. The stranger is someone who may be a refugee, and the stranger is someone who may be a stakeholder. The stranger is someone who teaches us to listen. The stranger is someone who is unique. The stranger is someone we must value. The stranger is wandering, always wandering. Why? Because we too often are xenophobic. The stranger is you. And indeed, the stranger is at times me, Rabbi Zach. I've offered 26 examples. We need 10 more to make it 36, to make it resonate with the 36 examples of the Torah teaching that we should never treat another like a stranger. Please share in the chat box what your thoughts are. And if it extends beyond 36, awesome. Let me read to you some of them as they come in. I love this. The stranger is looking for a home. The stranger is a lighthouse, alone but lighting the way through unknown waters. Someone with their own life and past. A stranger is someone who is shut out. A stranger is a friend that we have not met. A stranger, unfortunately, may be a relative who I don't see eye to eye with. A stranger is someone who is different from me. My parents always included a service person away from their family at our Passover Seder. Thank you, Bob Knopf. The stranger is someone who I don't know, but I'm given time to listen to their life story. A stranger is someone who looks like me or who looks like they need some help. The stranger is a neighbor that we haven't made an effort to meet. The stranger is someone who suffers in silence. The stranger is someone who is stateless. The stranger is looking to be welcomed into our community. Friends, all these and so much more. Yes, Sonny, the stranger is the other. We live in a world where there's an opportunity to turn the stranger into someone who is embraced. And that's why on this Refugee Shabbat, yes, we should be thinking about those who are struggling at the border, those who have not had a home. But we also need to make sure that in our own life, in our own actions, in our own words, and even in our own silence, we don't create strangers in our midst by shutting them out because of disagreements. In every generation, we've got to look at ourselves as though we're the ones who came out of Egypt. We were there, we are here. We cannot go back in that direction. Mitzrayim means narrow places. Israel is a place of possibilities and dreams, and we get there by opening our souls. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. Amen and amen. We are now going to continue with our concluding prayers. Cantor will be leading us in the Aleinu, and we invite all who are able to please rise once again.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotze breshit, shelo asanu k'gei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai, lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad.
Please be seated, everyone. As we prepare for Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, I offer the following. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. We remember friends and family of our congregation who have died, who continue to shine upon us from their eternal resting space. I'm going to begin with those for whom we are in Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning. And while I have people that have been offered to me on our list at Temple Akiba, perhaps there are people that you know who have died in the past 30 days for whom you are in Shloshim. And we encourage you to place those names in our chat box. We remember Mary Zackheim, Ginsburg, Eugene Hall, Celia Izakovitz, Dr. Barry Lowitz, Barry Moskowitz, my father, L. Dennis Shapiro, and Louis Silverstein. Added to their names are the yard sites, the anniversaries of the deaths that occur on this Shabbat. We begin with those who have plaques in our Sue and Jerry Erfrig Memorial Room. Judge Harold Chernus, Beatrice Hers, Pauline Horlick, Lenore Andron Hutchkins, Ben Kimmelman, Katie Lasky, Eve Meyer, Dory Pevsner, Tibby Pines, Raydell Samuels, Elsie Schaefer, Baruch Sirota, Celia Sola, Jerry Erfrig, Faye Zimmerman. And as I share the additional yard sites, if there are those that you are remembering for whom you are honoring a yard site, please place those names in our chat box as well. Eugene Appel, Lillian Bell, Reva Bernstein, Nathaniel Breeze Feldman, Meyer Bregman, Irvin Cohen, Bridget Crosby, Blanche Deaglesmith, John Fighter, Sandor Finta, William Goldman, Max Scholar, Sadie Gorman, Saul Hassan, Eula Havenchak, Tessie Hirschman, Fanny Hosman Kopp, Fred Jamner, Isidore Jamner, Rita Clemis, Joseph Lafferman, Thelma Lander, Edith Lee, Fanny Levine, Louise Levy, Louis Mervis, Arnold Needleman, Elia Parham, Jeffrey Penzo, Herb Rosenberg, Martin Ross, Rose Rubin, Francis Savitt, Mary Schulman, Michael Shabsis, Mim Shapiro, Betty Smith, Norrell Taylor, Gert Weiner, Sophie Worth, Salem Zurich. May all of their names guide us with goodness and blessings. We ask once again all who are able to please rise for Kaddish Yatom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shmei Rabbah v'yomad yivarach rotei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael bagalau v'yizman kariv imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam u'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemed kudusha b'reichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the one who causes peace to be known in the high heavens help us understand that by reaching out to one another, we create peace on earth as well. For all Israel and for all humanity, we say, Amen. Please be seated, everyone. Before we close, I want to once again acknowledge and thank Carol Diamond, our incredible Zoom master. Carol, there were a lot of moving parts tonight, and we truly appreciate everything that you do to help us out. Thank you to Mary Lou Basar-Rabba, our choir director. Truly extraordinary work that our choir gifted to us for this Shabbat evening. Welcoming once again Dr. Eric Greenberg from Loyola Marymount University, And Cantor and I are looking forward to meeting your students right after the service. And once again, Mazel Tov to the Knopf family. We can't wait to continue our celebration through the weekend. Cantorial intern Liz, I think you have a closing song for us.
So both cantorial intern and I, Liz and I, have Lachilach, so we'll be singing it separately but together. And Lachilach is a song that is taken directly from the Torah, from the beginning of Genesis, where God tells Abraham to leave his home and go to a land that he has promised, that God has promised. And we're going to use this song tonight as a blessing for those refugees that are fleeing their homes because of persecution or violence and trying to find safety and freedom in a new land.
So beautiful, so appropriate. Cantor Lonnie, do we have a challah tonight?
Of course, Rabbi. So here is our challah for the evening, and it is our tradition at Temple Akiba to touch the challah or touch someone that's touching the challah. So even though we're virtual, we still reach out our hands on screen to pretend like we are touching the challah as we join together and are blessing over the bread. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices joined in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.